Welcome back to Strictly Insider. For Movie Week, Diane and Tyler came out on top with an amazing Charleston, while fans were shocked when an unexpected pair made their exit. We sat down with It Takes Two presenter and former Strictly pro Janette Manrara to discuss everything about Strictly Week 3. Janette, thank you so much for joining us on Hello Insider. We're so happy to have you here.
My pleasure.
And what a week you're joining us for, Movie Week. I mean, this has got to be a favourite, right?
Oh my gosh. 100% is one of my favorite weeks of the show. I mean, it's right up there with Blackpool and Halloween and the semifinal and musicals. They're all amazing. But Movie Week, you know, there's something really special about Movie Week. And I think it's because it's earlier on in the series. We get to see lots of different films being separated because there's still lots of couples in the competition. So it's always a really fun one. Yeah.
Yeah, it is amazing. And like, you know, this is is it your second year not dancing on the show, being on presenting It Takes Two. How does it feel to watch it from home? I mean, do you miss it?
I mean, I miss dancing in the pro dances. I just miss the team. I miss everybody backstage. I miss obviously all the pros and judges, and I miss the whole team really. And then when I see the big group numbers or the couples do their amazing dances, you know, I definitely have like itchy feet and want to get up and dance again. But you know, It Takes Two feels like home now, and I love my It Takes Two family. And Rylan is just the perfect TV husband as well, so I'm happy.
Let's talk about it, because what a shocking result it was. I mean, Gio and Richie being the second couple out. I mean, did you see that coming?
I mean, it's too hard to tell. So early in the competition, really. It was anybody's game this weekend. I was very, very pleased to see that Matt got through, because I know that he was really sad last week, being in the bottom last week and getting through to this week. But you know, it's like anything in that show. When you're in that middle of the leaderboard, you know, when you're not at the top and you're not all the way at the bottom, you kind of always sit in that weird space. And I think this weekend, everybody was just so good that you couldn't call who was going to be in it anyway.
Absolutely. And like, what sort of emotions are going on when you hear the voice and you're in the dance off and stuff? It must be very emotional.
Very.
Yeah.
I would say more than emotional, nerve-wracking, because you're just hoping that that red light doesn't shine on you when you're standing there waiting. And that music, gosh, it sounds like a heartbeat. It goes doom, 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 doom. And it just feels so loud in the studio. And yeah, that's the moment when you really realize, you know, I mean, obviously you work really hard all week and you enjoy the performance on the Saturday. But when it comes to the results show, that's when you're like, oh gosh, did I do enough? I hope everyone at home enjoyed the dance. I hope we get through, you know, all those like hopes and wishes and dreams of getting through to the next week really kick in.
Yeah, I can imagine. But obviously with Richie and Gio, you know, their first 2 weeks were so strong, whilst obviously there were a couple of contestants who struggled a bit more. And it actually reminded me of you with Aston Marigold back in 2017, because that was so amazing. And like, you know, it was such a shock exit. So how does it feel when it's like, it doesn't feel like it should be quite your time yet?
It's never easy. You never feel like it's your time unless you get all the way to the final. Nobody ever wants to leave the competition. The only people that don't feel that feeling are the finalists, because even the semifinalists, geez, that's probably one of the toughest weeks to leave the competition because you're so close to the final. But yeah, and you never want to leave the competition. You want to, Dr. Ranj, you know, Ranj Singh, we danced together a few years back. And he described it so perfectly. He was like, you know, getting eliminated from the show, it's like being on this epic party bus, and all of a sudden the bus stops, you get dropped off, they close the door, keep the music back on, and they drive off, and the party bus continues without you. And it does feel like that, especially when you feel like you've left earlier than you wanted. But you know, as I said, nobody ever wants to leave at any point. You know, I wish there was no elimination. I wish we could just keep all 15 the whole series, and then just have one winner at the end and fine.
And obviously with Fleur and Vito and Richie and Giovanni being in the bottom two, do you think the judges made the right decision in keeping Fleur and Vito?
I do. I think Fleur had a stronger performance, and actually Anton said it beautifully. She had more of an artistic flair about it, you know. And I mean, I would have been disappointed to lose either of them, but I just think Fleur is so phenomenal, and she's getting better and better each week, and I feel like she has so much potential coming forward in this competition in the next few weeks that I'm glad that we were able to still watch her now in the coming weeks. But you know, Richie, I remember Richie and I met when he was on It Takes Two last year. He came on to do these like strictly stats section on the show that we had. And every time, he got it in, he's like, "Oh, Janelle, I really want to do Strictly. I don't know if I can explain to you how much of a super fan I am. Like, I'd be dying to do it. I'm desperate to do it." So when he was announced, I think I was buzzing for him because I knew how badly he wanted this. So I know how much the goodbye must be hurting as well, because he really, really loved the show.
Well, let's talk about some of the other dancers then, because like you said earlier, like everyone stepped up their game massively. I think every performance was so enjoyable, and obviously we got those amazing scores for Tyler and Diane's performance, which was wonderful. I mean, so what did you make of? Did you think all the scores were very justly deserved? Tell me what you thought.
I love the show. I mean, but movie week, as I said, is probably one of my favorites anyway. But I think all the couples, what is nice about movie week is that as a celebrity, you can really kind of fall into the character that you're playing. So it was nice to see all of the celebs really like delve into the characters of the films that they were portraying on the show. I mean, my gosh, I got emotional watching Matt. I felt his emotion when he was dancing. I felt like it was probably one of the first instances where he was really in the moment and you felt that. But I feel like that was across the board, because every single couple, every single celebrity, I felt that from them on the floor. They were all really going for it and really invested in that characterization.
Were there any performance highlights? Who was your favorite?
Well, definitely Tyler and Diane. I think just in first tens of the series, and I don't know how Tyler did it, because when he came on It Takes Two, he was in rehearsals obviously still, but he had just done the London Marathon on Sunday. He had done a whole drive the week before that, and then he went straight into a Charleston. And he was telling me how his ankles were hurting him and that he was just physically exhausted because he was still working as well. So for him to come out and deliver that Charleston, even after the exhaustions that he had, was pretty sensational. And then, I mean, we cannot not talk about Tony Adams. And
I know.
I mean,
Katya's choreography. Oh,
yeah. And you know what? Like, again, Anton so brilliantly said it. He is Strictly Come Dancing. That's exactly what you want. Never danced before in his life. Doing that song, the full Monty, going for gold, not holding back, wearing sparkly shorts with fringes on the side. I mean, it was just it was I could not stop screaming enough at the TV watching it. It was just so brilliant. It was great Strictly moment I felt with Tony and Katya. Yeah.
it's one for the history books for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. I loved Jade Adams and Karen as well. I thought that
Yes.
was such a wonderful celebration of like accepting your body, and I
Oh
was
my God,
clapping
but
the screen
Jade-
at that. Yeah.
Jade has this energy about her. She oozes, for someone that is a comedian and she's used to being on stage and performing. This is still all very new to her. She's never danced to this level and done this ever, really. And she just, ooh, you can feel that she's taking every single second of being a part in that show deeply. She's not taking any of it for granted. She's enjoying every single moment on that dance floor with Karen. And for her to talk about body image and how anybody of any size and shape can go out there and dance. I mean, she closed the show. To close the show shows you that, she was definitely a highlight of the night as well.
I think you're so right. Just the way that she was completely sort of taken over with emotion when she realized that she closed the show as well. You could tell she was like, what is this life that I'm living right now? She was like so overwhelmed by it. Yeah, it was amazing.
I mean, all of the celebs are incredible, but I think what I like about Jay specifically is her kind of. I like Richie. Well, it's sad we've lost Richie, because I think between the two of them, they were like the two biggest super fans of the show. So to watch them kind of have their journey has been is very special. And I think Jade and Karen, and you know what? Like when I watch Jade and Karen. Karen is one of my good friends. So I watched Jade and Karen, and I'm like, that's what me and Karen would do at like my house on a weekend if we had the weekend off. We'd play some music and then just dance and have fun and be two girlfriends like having a good time. So I feel like they're doing it for the girls, which is nice to see.
I absolutely love that behind the scenes of what two Strictly pros do once they're hanging out with each other on a weeknight. That's brilliant. You just do some flash dance in the living room.
We do flash dances. Me and Karen mostly do salsas because we're both Latina. So
that's amazing. Obviously, there were a couple of judges' comments, I think, that didn't come across that well with the pros. So what I'm referencing is Nikita sort of talking about one of Shirley's comments about Ellie. I mean, how hard must it be when you feel like criticism's a little unjust and you want to, do the best for your partner? Like, how does that feel?
Yeah, it's do you know what? Dance is subjective. It's an art form. So there's no right or wrong. It's literally just opinion. And at least for me, when I was competing on the show, I never, I obviously took it on board and listened to what they had to say, good or bad. But when it was something that maybe I felt, oh, I don't know if I would agree with that, I just wouldn't take it personally because it's not, at the end of the day, I like yellow and somebody else might like blue, it doesn't matter. It's a matter of taste. Technically, Shirley does know exactly what she's talking about when it comes to the technique and things like that. But, only the pros know how hard the celebrities work in the week. And, as a pro, you kind of have to pick your battles. You can't throw everything in the kitchen sink into that dance because, not every celeb can pick everything up all the way through. So you have to choose, okay, well, if she's struggling a little bit with her feet, let's work a little bit more on the frame, or the other way around. Or she's got a really beautiful frame, so let's focus now on her feet. So, or vice, you know what I mean? You kind of have to pick and choose what's going to be best and showcase your celebrity in the best possible light.
Who do you think that we still have a lot to see from? Who do you think hasn't quite reached their full potential yet?
Well, to be honest, all of them. It's still early days. We're only on week 3. I mean, I know we got 10s for Tyler already, but I don't think we've seen all of what even Tyler has to offer yet in the competition. And every single one of them has room for improvement. Every single one of them is going through a journey. I don't think this is a year where we have like obvious finalists. In the past, you've seen like, oh, she's definitely going to be in the final. Oh, they're definitely going to be in the final. But I feel like this year is such an even playing field. And right now, because we're still so early on in the competition, every single one of them has something that they could really improve on and work on. So I think what I would have to say to that more than anything is if you have a favorite, you have to vote for them because, a lot of people be like, oh, well, it's like you said, it happened with me and Aston. Oh, Aston's great. He's going to be in the final. Don't worry. And then, the elimination happened. So this year, I think probably more than any other year, because it's such an even playing field, people really need to just get behind the couples that they want to support and see coming back.
I've got one final question for you. Early prediction. Who do you think might win it at this point in the competition? Who's taking home that glitter ball trophy?
I can't answer that. I can't. As an It Takes Two host, I am here to love all and support all and wish them all the best of luck. But what I will say is that whoever the winner will be a very worthy winner.
Very well done. Very well said.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's much appreciated.
No, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and head over to hellomagazine.com for more info on your favourite celebrities. Bye.